One second, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Now go ahead.
Are we ready? All right. 7:05. So I'll call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Glad that you're all here tonight. Let's see, we'll have the minutes. I know Ty sent the minutes out electronically the other day. So if you would review them quickly, see if there's any additions or corrections. If not, we will let it be. That was the night we had our.
I do want to let everyone know that I made one addition to the minutes that I have captured but did not redistribute, and that is I overlooked Richard Santos's presentation to our Citizen of the Year winner. So I added that to our official meeting minutes, Rev 2. So that is a change that I made. Thanks for Richard looking into that and then making sure it was accurate and complete.
Okay. So that was his presentation that he made to Thelma then. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll accept them as amended and move on. Susan, Treasurer's Report.
Hi, everybody. So I have the Treasurer's Report for March of 2021. Our beginning balance on March 1st, 2021 was $3,711.85. We had an income of membership due payments, $10, and expenses was a Citizen of the Year plaque, and that was $42.51. So the ending balance March 31st was $3,679.34. Then the Beautify San Jose grant, cycle 3, the beginning balance March 1st was $2,672.35. We had expenses, the bronze plaque for the community center mural was $1,275. So our ending balance for the cycle 3 grant on March 31st is $1,397.35. And then we have a third entry here, the City of San Jose District 4 grant. We received that in the month of March in the amount of $10,000. There are no expenses, and the ending balance March 31st is $10,000. Thank you.
And I think it's worth noting that that was a large function of support from Councilmember Cohen's office. So thank you to Councilmember for helping make that happen. And we will treat it with respect.
Well, it actually comes from Lawn Deep.
Mm-hmm.
He pledged the 10.
Right. Yeah. And David was doing significant follow-up.
To making it, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Police report. I see Barbara got on. Hi, Barbara.
Hi,
Barbara, seat number 2.
Before we leave the Treasurer's Report, Linda, if I may, quick question for Susan. So we have on cycle 3 grant, $1,397.35 is our ending balance. But we have commitments of $250, correct, for the installation of the plaque?
Yes.
That's a commitment that will come out of those monies. We haven't spent them yet, but it is a commit. And I thought, I can tell you now, I talked to the vendor for the plaque, and they're supposed to ship it this week. So we should see it soon.
Cool. Thank you for that update. Appreciate that. All right. Police report. Captain Todd Trayer is with us tonight.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good evening. It's been pretty busy around town lately, but I want to give you a little update about what I'm seeing in your area specifically, and maybe a little bit outside your area, but it's relevant, and I think it's something we should talk about a little bit. But there was a few robberies in the area of Capitol and Ohlone, up near the shopping center there, where one of them was a woman had left her purse in the seat next to her, and she was stopped at a stoplight. And the brazen robber ran up to the car and smashed the window and grabbed the purse. So I bring that up so you don't take that for granted. And it's not just purses, it could be laptops from anybody or anything. But it is linked to some other robberies in the city. And we've been working on it. So I know we've got some good leads. The robbery unit is working on it, but I want to make sure I bring that up to you just so you don't leave something in that passenger seat that could be an easy target, because I wouldn't expect that even. And I'm a police officer, right? I wouldn't expect somebody to come over and do that when you're at a stoplight, but that's the reality. And that's something that's been happening over the last week. The other thing I wanted to bring up, it's a little bit south of kind of the BCAC area, but it's important to talk about is the catalytic converter thefts that have been happening in San Jose. So there was a homicide off of K Walker, which is not that far away. And I bring that up because that was a very normal, great dad who went out to defend his what he saw happening, and it led to a homicide, and he lost his life trying to defend his property. And as you can guess, that catalytic converter is worth $1,000 or so dollars, but definitely not worth that man's life or the anguish that family has gone through. So please know that if you have somebody in your driveway in the middle of the night or the middle of the morning, you happen to catch them, just back up and call 911. We will be there. We know how important it is. Obviously, some of these folks are armed, and the cops are still working. The homicide is still working on that homicide as well. Now that I've been to a few of these meetings, I know what you guys want to know about. So I know that Mr. Santos is going to be happy with me, because I'm going to tell him about the amount of citations that have to do with Sierra Road. See, I know. So I talked to the traffic team. They went out, and in that whole area, they did a bunch of citations over about a week and a half. They did 79 citations. That's a lot. 79 citations on all the big streets. One person did end up getting arrested for something they had going on. I think they had an illegal weapon. And I counted 49 patrol stops. Those are proactive patrol stops, which include mostly up in the Suncrest area. A lot of citations separate from the number I'm giving you up in Suncrest, which I know hasn't been perfect, because Friday I was working the sideshow detail, and I know there was donuts being spun around somewhere off of, I think, is it Perrier? Is that how you say it? But up on the hill there. So we did send over a helicopter and some officers, but by the time they got there, the main cars had already split out of there. There's been an increase in calls at Penitentiary Creek Park. A lot of dog calls. I guess it's that time of the year, but a lot of dogs off the leash doing things they shouldn't be doing. And then two men were fighting the other day, and the cops went out and resolved that issue.
Well, through the chair, thank you, Captain. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I do focus a lot on the Capitol and Berryessa area, because you guys are always going there, right? That's where everybody shops and hangs out. There's been a lot of calls there. I've sent a team out there, including myself, to kind of just take a holistic view of the whole area. I'm hoping to get information on who the land owners are, so I can have a dialogue with them about ways to make that better. It's just, it has to do with lighting, it has to do with blight, it has to do with some other safety concerns that I see there. They have security, but having security do the right thing to keep it safer for you is super important to me. So I started working on that about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks. And I need to do some follow-up. And council member Cohen, I think I promised you I would do that. So I did take pictures of the cars that you had mentioned out there, and that's something we are working on. I have not heard back yet. I have to figure out who the exact owner is of that shop.
We got the information on the owners, so we'll be in touch.
Great,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you very much. I think that's it. You know that my focus is on the sideshows and trying to find a remedy for that. Council supported a really big step forward toward some laws that we're going to write together, and paying for some officers to bring some fresh eyes to sideshows when they happen on the weekend. That's going to make a huge difference. So just know that I wish I could make them all go away right now, but on Friday night we had over 300 cars in San Jose. The sheriff's department has been with us. The CHP has been with us. They're the big players that can help us really make a dent. And with the three of us working on it together, we've been able to move people along very quickly, but they're still showing up at one part of the city or the other. So we're still focusing on ways to make that go down. Are there any questions about anything big that might have happened that I didn't speak about?
If I may, I heard at a presentation approximately a year and a half ago that the helicopters are remarkably effective in apprehension. The number I was told was 100%. If they're in pursuit, you're caught. And I just thought that if that is still the case, that is something the public should be aware of, because I see a lot of next door traffic about why the helicopter here, and everybody gets all excited, but it's a marvelous tool for law enforcement.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is still 100%, to be honest with you. The helicopter flies high when they're doing, we call them patrols. So it's even though it's in the air, it's still a patrol. They fly high, and when you hear them down low, it's because they're on a call for service. They do have 100% apprehension rate when they attach to a call and they're locked on a person. They do that. I have called them off before, like that doesn't count, right? Because I've said that person's driving too erratic and the helicopter chasing them is causing them to drive that way. So we've had to do that a couple times, but that's on me just to protect the public. We're lucky to have them. Thank you for mentioning that.
Any other questions for the captain? Oh, good. That was a great report. Thank you. I know all those residents are really concerned. And of course, that happening on Ohlone Drive is just a couple blocks from us, from where I live. So I was concerned. Eric, can Alexander, I can't say his last name. It's David Cohen's aide, and he would like to be a panelist because he's going to speak for David tonight, even though David's here. So if you can make him a panelist, keep on going. All right, thank you, Captain Chair. Sheriff's report, Lieutenant Quinones. Oh, can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me okay?
There we go. There you go.
We good? Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is give you your stats for the last month. These stats are going to be excluding March 26th of this year, and I'll explain that to you. For this month, we had a grand total of 38 patrol checks on Sierra Road. That's a lot. Our teams are going up there. They're trying to focus on those late hours between 11 and 2 when we get our most traffic up there. So we're sending those units up there. We did about 11 vehicles, 11 suspicious vehicles, 6 car stops, actual car stops up there. No arrest this month, but going to March 26th, we ran a zero tolerance enforcement to reduce illegal activity, unlawful gatherings, and help prevent traffic collisions. This was the assistance of the California Highway Patrol. Special thanks to my partner, Lieutenant Jeremy Jones, for putting the operation together. And a special thanks to St. Victor's Catholic Church for allowing us to set up our command post. We set up out in the back corner. We fed the officers and we waited. And just a little bit of how it worked. We had a couple of units at the top of Sierra by Felter. And then we had all our patrol units at the church. And we had an unmarked car that would every hour would drive up and kind of give us a number from what street all the way up to the preserve, how many vehicles were actually parked on the roadway. And then what we did was we sent our chase cars up, and with the assistance of the helicopter, we actually blocked the roads, and we kind of held them all in there, and we just went up and everyone got a ticket. So during that night, we ended up issuing 58 citations in one night. That's with California Highway Patrol provided 5 officers and a sergeant. We had 2 lieutenants, 1 sergeant, 4 deputies, and 3 reserve deputies that assisted. My thanks to everyone that assisted on this. It takes some time because you just don't want to go up there. You want to give it like an hour to an hour and 20 minutes to see how many people are coming up. But believe it or not, every hour we were catching a group of people up there, and we didn't make any arrests, but we cited a lot of people. We were asking people, why do you come up here? And again, we're getting the response. They're hearing about it on Instagram and Snapchat and stuff like that. It's known. People are posting pictures. This is the place to come and party and hang out and stuff. What they don't tell them is that this is also a place where you can come get robbed. So we're doing our best to patrol check the area. We've been working with San Jose PD as well. I feel bad for San Jose having to deal with all these sideshows. It's a weekly thing now. My team I don't work Friday nights, but Lieutenant Jones and his team they're definitely out to assist on these issues, and hopefully we'll be able to come to some sort of resolution. But it is a problem, and it's very unsafe, and it's a lot of young people that are doing this. So hopefully we can get somewhere fast with that. Other than that, we don't have any major incidents. Thank God. I'd like to make those reports. I like to report that we don't have anything bad going on up on Sierra Road, but it's your standard parkers and partiers, and we're doing the best we can to shoo them off your road so they're not up there. And we're also planning now to get ready for 4th of July. So that's where we're at with everything. Any questions before we go?
Yes, Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Dick.
I want to thank the captain and lieutenant, of course, for being helpful. I also want to thank David Cohen's office and Supervisor Otto Lee, who've been supportive. But I would just ask you that some of the dangerous hours happen to be from 4 to 7 in the evening. The traffic up here is very, very tough and dangerous to our hikers, the people who want to bike. I have to go outside many times, and I tell the young kids, please be careful around this turn of Sierra and Camelot and Skyview. Very serious because it's hard to see. But all I can say is to you officers, we support you, we appreciate it, and thank you, David and Otto Lee.
Very nice. Are there any questions?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I and San Jose Police Department, whether you notice that there is drinking or other illegal activities going on where you do need to give citations or just warnings, or how does that work?
Want to go first, Captain? Or did you want me?
Thanks. That's a great question. If we see that somebody is drinking, like they have alcohol in the car, often there'll be passengers that have alcohol. We do cite them for the open containers. I think all of our agencies do that. And then we take away the alcohol. We make sure that it's disposed of properly, because that's a big deal, like to be drinking and driving. So they do sobriety checks on the people that are in the car to make sure that they're safe enough to drive, and then get them out of there so they're not causing a problem for the neighborhood.
Same with us. Except for March 26th, there was zero tolerance. Everyone was issued a citation. There were no warnings given. If you were up there parked, you got a citation. We didn't have any drunk drivers, thank God again. But if we did, we would have ran the sobrieties, and if they were unable to drive, they would have went to jail. I will also pass on the hours of 16 to 19, 4 to 7 to my day shift watch commander, and let them know to start getting some patrol checks done around that time. That's kind of our shift change. So it's kind of, I'll try to get some people out there like by 5 or so. I'll put that note out there. I'll let the captain know. Okay. Thank you guys very much for your time, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Catherine,
Thank you.
Catherine Cummings also said she had a chat that she wanted to thank you officers for all the work you've done. She lives up off Sierra Road, I guess. Yeah, on Upper Sierra, she said. Okay, thank you. Who's next? All right, then we could, so no Tim Orozco. So Assemblyman Alex Lee's office, Anurag is here, and he'll speak for both, I guess. You show him, Anurag. You're up.
Hi, everybody. This is Anurag with the Assemblymember Alex Lee's office. Happy to be here. It has been quite a busy past month. A lot of updates, but I will first start with that we have an event coming up this Thursday, April 15 at 3:30 with Congressman Khanna on Small Business Town Hall. We'll be on Zoom, and I have shared the link. You can RSVP or you can watch on Facebook. They will be jointly hosting, and we'll have Small Business Administration, SBDCs present information and answer questions. So anybody, if you know small business owner would like to get some information about the programs, please join us this Thursday. Also, we hosted an event on Golden State Stimulus. So in California, if you qualify, you can get up to $600 payment from the state. You have to file taxes this year if you never filed before to get this payment. I have a link. You can watch the video and has information of how and when you'll be able to get it. But one thing you need to remember is you need to file taxes to get this stimulus for the state of California. Some legislative updates. Today, the legislature approved $536 million for wildfire prevention. As you can see, and this year it has been very dry, and it seems like there's going to be a tough wildfire year. So the state legislature is taking action with the governor, approving more funding to prevent some of the wildfires. And today the state legislature approved $536 million. Assembly member also, so the committee process in state legislature have started in March and April. Assembly member Lee presented his first bill in the committee, AB 762, which requires charter schools and private schools to follow the same guidelines that public schools follow. Basically, especially on the environmental regulations, so people, the students, staff, everybody is safe. There's an incident in Fremont where there's a company that produced cement. It's very close to a private school, and it wasn't the regulation before, and now if you remember, Lee is trying to have the regulation for all schools as public school follows. Over the past month, he attended a various Stop API Hate rallies in the district. Some of you have probably been there with him. Also, as you know, governor announced that last month, the state, everybody will be able to get vaccinated starting April 15th, 16 and above. So date is coming up, so April 15th, 16 and above. The date is coming up soon. You can sign up on myturn.ca.gov. If you haven't got the vaccine, you can sign up and you'll be able to know when or where you can get the vaccine. And also, governor has announced, there was a big news that by June 15, if everything stays stable and we get vaccinated, California will be able to open up as per usual. So we are hoping for that. That's happened so that we can have this meeting at Berryessa Community Center soon.
Yeah.
The biggest issue they still are facing our offices and Senator's office, and I can also attest for Senator Cortese that our office is facing a lot of EDD cases. We're still helping a lot of people who are stuck in the EDD process. They are doing their best, but it's just a lot of our volume. And if you know anybody who's in need, especially for EDD, send us our way. We do our best to make sure they get assistance. We talk to our liaisons at least 3 times a week. So if somebody's desperate situation, and especially we've been here for almost a year, and somebody doesn't have money to pay rent or just buy food and they're relying on EDD money, we'll be happy to assist and try to get them assistance as fast as we can. And that has been our biggest focus in the district office. And that's all I have. Yeah, join us on the 15th, and we'll also be hosting more events in the future, and I'll share that with you, Linda and Ty, as they come along. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Eric, I have 2 more people that want to speak. I thought we had Robin Roymer on our list, so I must have forgot. But he would like to be able to give his report for the VTA, and Celeste Walker from Senator Cortese's office is also on. We didn't have her on before, so but she would like to give a report also. So if you can get them on somehow, we'll move on with the other speakers while you do that. All right, and we'll put them on the list, I guess, for they could give a regular report monthly. All right, let's see, where are we? Supervisor Otto Lee, is somebody speaking for him tonight? Otto Lee? Okay. Councilman David Cohen, I think Alexander is on. So Alexander, you're going to give the report for the councilman. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Linda. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. There's a lot of updates to share, so I'll try to be quick. And I'm going to go ahead and start with updates from our. Sorry, I thought somebody had said something. I'm going to go ahead and start with updates from our Department of Transportation. So as many of you know, the city is working to repave and repair every street in San Jose, including in Berryessa. And our office is working with the Department of Transportation to make sure that the roads that most need repaving get it as soon as possible. So if you're interested in checking when your street is scheduled for repaving, you can check this link. We'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm also happy to report that the city is planning for a lot of traffic safety improvements in Berryessa. You can check our last newsletter for the full list, but the planned improvements include radar speed signs, curb extensions, updated crosswalks, a whole host of projects designed to prevent speeding and improve pedestrian safety. So we always encourage folks, if they know of an intersection or a road where traffic safety is particularly a big issue, when there's speeding or reckless driving, don't hesitate to reach out to our office and we'll be sure to pass it along to the Department of Transportation. Moving on from transportation, next month, the council will also begin discussing the city budget and proposing changes in priorities. So the budget includes all kinds of vital priorities on issues like public safety, transportation, services for neighborhoods, some really important things. So we really want to make sure that we hear from the community about what you want to see prioritized in the budget. So I encourage you to reach out to our office with your thoughts and your input regarding where the city allocates its funds. To wrap things up, a couple of events that we want to draw folks' attention to. Our office is hosting a virtual town hall on Thursday, April 15th at 6 p.m. So this is a really good opportunity to interact directly with the council member and with our staff and share any questions or concerns you might have that you think needs our office's attention. So if you're interested in attending, I'll go ahead and drop my email in the chat. Feel free to shoot me an email and I will get you signed up for the Zoom link. The Red Cross is also hosting a free virtual fire safety webinar on May 8th, which is a Saturday. And we're encouraging everybody who can make it to attend because they're going to provide a lot of really useful information on how to stay safe and how to prevent fires. And folks who participate are also going to get a free emergency kit. So it's definitely worth setting aside half an hour for. I'll drop some contact info there for the Red Cross. Anybody who's interested in signing up can reach out to either the email or the phone number. And last but not least, we want to encourage everyone to please continue getting tested for COVID. I know folks are really excited to get vaccinated, and we're really happy to see such high vaccination rates in San Jose, but it's also really important to keep getting tested so that we know just how much progress we're making in stopping the virus. Getting tested is 100% free, and at most places, actually pretty much no wait time. There's no lines, just kind of in and out. So this is going to be my last link for the evening. I'll go ahead and share a link in the chat where you can find a list of testing sites in the county. So if you can find the nearest one to you and either set up an appointment, or a lot of them are just walk-ins. And like I said, no wait times, pretty much. There's pretty much no lines, just kind of in and out. So that's pretty much it on our end. So thank you for your time, everybody. Stay safe and have a good night.
Thank you.
Nice report, lots of information. Thank you so much. Alrighty, Santa Clara Valley Water District, Richard Santos, you are up, sir.
Thank you, Linda. Like everybody, we got all kinds of challenges, but I'll just give you a few, and we enjoy trying to solve them. It's not easy, but let's start off with the example at the Bob Gross Ponds. I've had several phone calls, and the State Department of Water Resources got finished doing their maintenance work with the South Bay Aqueduct, so we shouldn't have any problems with water now being back at Bob Gross, which eventually goes down to the Penitentiary Ponds. The Santa Clara Valley Water District only supplies water to the ponds. It's either the county or the city, because I've had several complaints. I've spent 2 Saturdays out there trying to help residents who are complaining. I have no problem. And I walked with them, and there's a lot of debris in there. So tonight, right before this meeting, Stacy Brown, working late hours for David Cohen, gave me a call and said, Dick, you know, what can we do? And I said, we'll work together. Even though it's not our responsibility, I have no problem. I said, I will make sure that we get a truck to help Boy Scouts that want to go clean that pond up. We're trying to get the city and county to find out which one of them is responsible. To me, it looks like the city owns it, but yet there's county jurisdiction. So we're going to get that done, but the Santa Clara Valley Water District will participate and will help. So with that, May 1st, we're going to have a huge cleanup with the folks living in the creek. And it's May 1st, around 9 o'clock down there on Tully and by Tours area. We're going to all meet there And it's a heck of a challenge, but I was able to bring the county and city together. Now, people think that the water district owns all the creeks. It's not true. We own 1/3. So right now, we're still trying to get permission from the city, the San Jose Unified School District, the county, and private owners to give us permission. And we can't even get that from some people, but we're persistent. We'll go in and do the job. It's not easy. We're not there to arrest people. We're trying to help people clean up their own mess. So we're going to go down there and work together in a collaboration and try to get social services there at the same time, because you folks passed Measure S that gave us some extra funding to help with the social conditions, which the county will do. It's like something like $500,000 a year. A lot of money, but there's a lot of need. Of course, we all feel bad living in a nice home here and people living in the creeks. It's not right in America, but we're trying to do the best we can and, you know, reach out and try to help some folks. We're in a drought. I don't have to tell you, folks have done well. We've got about a 22% water conservation. We got to continue. We're still making it voluntary. We're not after anything. You folks all do good. We got a good rebate program, but we got to do better. The rates will go up. They didn't go up last year. We held out. So when your retailers charge you more money and they'll blame the water district, well, we raised it, but not as much as they're getting. So you take a look at your bills and you can go from there. I can stay here all night, but guess what? I enjoy what I do. And if there's a problem, believe me, we'll go out and try to fix it, do the best we can. We do not pass the buck. So with that, thank you for listening. You can call me anytime. My phone is paid by the water district and so is my emails. Call me, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good. You know, BCAC also wants to work on that pond area too. So we will be, you know, keeping in touch with all of you. And once we get
Call me, I'll be glad to help.
yeah, I think Ty will be, he's already, I think, started some contacts. So we're going to get something done. I know you get complaints, everybody complains about it. You'd like to be able to sit there and just relax and look at the pond, but so it'll be nice. St. Victor's has an active Boy Scout group now too. So they're looking for things to do. So at least they'll be local. Thanks, Dick. Thanks for your report. All right, Berryessa School District Superintendent, Dr. Fuentes.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone tonight. So I have a few updates. First, I do want to acknowledge two of our trustees that are in the audience today. We have Trustee BCAC and Trustee Srinivasan, and I know they share my enthusiasm that we are reopening our campuses next week for our students. So on April 19th, we look forward to welcoming our primary age students, our preschool through second grade, as well as our sixth graders. And then the following week on April 26th, we'll have our upper grade students join our campuses, third through fifth grade, as well as seventh and eighth grade. So this week has been a busy week of confirming which students are coming back for in-person support, as well as getting our staffing together. But we're excited that this time has arrived. And I do want to thank our community because you've had also a role in helping us get our students back to school. As a result of having our Measure L bond dollars, we've been able to make some safety improvements in our schools that were necessary for a safe return, such as being able to upgrade our HVAC systems with the MERV 13 filters, as well as being able to install hydration stations in each school site. And we've also taken advantage of this time that we've not had students on campus to continue with those upgrades on our facilities. And many of you have already noticed some brand new lunch shade structures, new paving and fencing, and new marquee sign at Piedmont Middle School. So we thank our community for continuing to provide that support to us. And we're glad to have students soon to be back on campus to enjoy those improvements. And also wanted to just reemphasize the importance of the COVID-19 testing as one of those critical measures as we continue to deal with the pandemic. And just so that you know that our school district is providing free COVID-19 testing to our entire community. It's available every first and third Wednesday at Sierra Mont Middle School from 1:30 to 5:30. It's a drive-up process, so you don't even need to get out of your car. and everyone is welcome. And so our next date will be next Wednesday on April 21st. So please, as we had last Wednesday, we were open for testing. We only had one car drive up the entire session. So really need to, educate everyone that it's still an important measure. It's free, it's available, it's easy. So just come by Sierramont Middle School. Also, many of you may have received this update flyer that went to every home in Berryessa, just giving you another thank you and some information on how we're using our Measure K parcel tax dollars. We are still seeking individuals who are interested in volunteering to be a part of our oversight committee. So I know we did receive 3 applicants who are interested, that will be bringing them on board to be part of that process. But if you'd like to learn more about how we utilize those dollars and be part of our oversight and reporting that we're doing our best to fulfill those financial obligations on behalf of the community, we welcome you to join us in that effort. And then finally, I have some really wonderful, wonderful news. So last month I shared, the award, the county award that we had received for our Chinese dual immersion program over at Cherrywood. Well, just shortly after hearing about that wonderful news, we also received word that Murrill Middle School has been recognized as a California Distinguished School for 2021. So we are super excited, for our school district and for the Murrill community. There are just about 100 middle and high schools that were recognized for this statewide award this year. There were only 7 that were recognized in Santa Clara County. And out of the 7, only 4 were public schools. The other 3 were charters. So just really, all of the data for these awards is based on academic achievement and closing the gap, for our student populations that need it most. So we are really proud of those efforts, and all of you being part of our Berryessa community, having had students go through our schools. This is a shared recognition. So it just brings us a lot of pleasure to be able to highlight that most recent distinction. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. That's terrific. That's really, really, really good. Glad to hear that. That Chinese dual immersion, that's Cherrywood, that's doing a good job too. So that's exciting. Very nice. All right. We have David and Ty having a little thing about the hydration stations. So maybe you want to clarify that for everybody, Dr. Fuentes. What's a hydration station?
Yes, hydration station. So it refills your water bottle automatic. It's touchless, and it's a great endeavor. And actually, prior to the pandemic, and Councilmember Cohen can say he was a big advocate in terms of having hydration stations in our schools as an environmental effort to cut out the use of plastic water bottles, right? And so, of course, having the pandemic and wanting to have water fountains cannot be accessible to students. They have to be shut down in this COVID environment. So having hydration stations for automatic water filling of their water bottles is a great addition.
Great. Thank you for that information. Okay. All right. The Community Advisory Council for VTA. Robin, if I see you got on.
Yes. Thanks for that.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I have 4 quick updates from VTA for you. First one is that on April 1st, VTA started collecting fares again. So you do have to pay if you take the bus or the light rail, unless you go to a vaccination site or come from one, that is still free. So if you need to go there, get vaccinated, you can ride for free. The second update is that the Berryessa BART Transit Center, the BART station, has received a Platinum Sustainability Award from the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure. And I want to mention that it's always nice when local projects get some recognition out there. Very important is that the VTA's biannual budget. So the budget for the next 2 years is coming up. And the main takeaways are that VTA is proposing that they don't want to increase any transit fares. So transit fares are supposed to stay stable, but they do want to increase transit service levels, so run more frequent service, more weekend and evening service. They're going to try to do that. If you want to get involved, there's some community meetings coming up, and I'll drop some information in the chat on that. Lastly, and that's a little bit outside of VTA's jurisdiction, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Last week, a driver on Broker Road, just west of 880, hit a bicyclist, and that bicyclist unfortunately died of his injuries. So I just wanted to remind everyone to drive safely and watch out for our vulnerable road users. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for coming tonight and giving your report. I'll keep you on the list. I had you on the list actually, but you need to be able to get in. All right. Vishnu, our Piedmont Hills High School student, he's going to give us a little update about what's happening there.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so today's Monday, and we just got off of our last 1 week break, which I tried to savor as much as possible because now next month starts the testing and the beginning of the end of the school year, right? So, like Ms. Fuentes said, students are coming back for optional in-person learning next week. But also, there is this testing that I found out really recently called the CAASPP test that is actually a federally and state required test. And so all juniors have to go to school and get a Chromebook. I thought that was really interesting. And those tests will take place next week. It is good to see that the school has the resources for every single student, given that these Chromebooks are still pretty expensive. Next month, we have AP testing. And unlike last year, where the AP tests were poorly put together, a whole class was condensed into one question. This year, the AP tests are like now 3 hours each subject. And I'm not looking forward to it, but it is something that was there in real life learning. And that kind of provides a sense of like normalcy, right? And yeah, sports have begun, and it kind of feels like things are coming back together.
Okay. So you'll be quite busy for the next month and a half or so. Wow. All right. Good luck to you. Thanks for your report. I'm keeping us updated.
One question for
Right.
Vishnu from Ty.
Good.
Now that you're going back to class, you're going to have to get a haircut?
I've been putting it off for like a year and a half. I guess I'll have to.
Look at all the curls, though.
I thought your pledge was you weren't going to cut your hair until you get back into the classroom.
Well, it only looks good on camera. I'll just say that. Once I go back to real life, it'll have to go.
That's like you look like my grandson. That's what happened to his hair. It grew and it's all curly. So same thing. You look good. It's your hair.
I don't have that
whatever
problem.
You want. Yeah. All right. Our last speaker, Celeste Walker, is here representing Senator Cortese's office. So we're delighted to have you here talking to us. Cortese's always been in our area, and we've always supported him through all of his different assignments that he's been on. All right, Celeste, are you there?
I am here. Thank you so much.
Great.
Since I was not on the agenda tonight, I'm not going to take very much of your time, but mainly I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Celeste Walker, and I'm the field director here in the new office of Senator Dave Cortese. We wanted to let you know that we're up and fully running now after a bit of a transition, and let you know that we're going to be attending monthly. I'm going to have a different staff member here at every monthly meeting to give you guys an update. In the meantime, I've put all of our contact information in the chat for you, and just want to let you guys know that I'm the point of contact should you have any questions about our bill package, which I encourage you to check out. It's fantastic. We have lots of great environmental and housing bills, some public safety bills and education bills. And of course, as we move deeper into the legislative session, we'll be excited to share those with you. But just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that you will be seeing a member of our team here every month. And if you need any help before the next meeting, we are here for you. I'm going to drop the information one more time, and then let you know also that we will have an upcoming town hall in May that we'll be announcing here in the next week or two. But if you'd like to check out the town hall we had just last week between the senator and Ro Khanna, it was a very spirited conversation with some great questions from SD15, and that is available on the website. But it's wonderful to meet you all, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for reaching out to us. We really appreciate that. It was nice to be able to keep in touch with the Senator since we've known him. Actually, I've known him since he was a little kid. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, thank you so much for giving me a report. We appreciate that. All right, we're right on schedule, I think. We have our presentation tonight, Recycle Right. That'd be nice for a change. City of San Jose Environmental Services. And instead of Andy, it's going to be Lyndon. I won't try to say her last name because I just can't say it. So Lyndon, you're up.
Those crazy Norwegian names.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Let me see if I can share my screen. Maybe you need to allow me to share my screen.
I don't know.
Oh, no, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get this slideshow going. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, I'm not Andy. I'm Lyndon Shea, and I've been in environmental services for 20 years, 22 years actually. And my latest charge is to help people in the community know how to recycle right. So that's what we're going to talk about. What can be recycled, what can't be recycled. Some of the other services that we have, answer your questions, and some of the other aspects of recycling and solid waste reduction. So I don't know how many of you have been paying much attention to what's been going on in like the solid waste industry, but there's a lot of good reasons to try and recycle right, and why recycling is important. In terms of the environmental reasons, it saves resources if we recycle. So things like aluminum can be recycled over and over again. It saves landfill space because less stuff is going to the landfill, less pollution, less litter. If you use materials that are not virgin, you don't have to expend as much energy to turn them into products, so it saves energy. And in the process, it saves greenhouse gases. And so the state has enacted a lot of different laws dating back to AB 939 in the late 1980s to try and encourage recycling and to reduce waste. And Dave Cortese has had a hand in some of those. And San Jose established a goal, I want to say, gosh, I'm not even sure anymore, 10 years at least ago, to a zero waste goal, which really is to divert 90% of our waste from landfill into some other use, so recycling or composting or whatever. And so the strategies for that are to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and especially to recycle right. And that's especially important now because we Americans sent so much material to China that was not clean and that had non-recyclables in it and so forth. That a few years ago, China said they don't want our stuff anymore. And if they are going to take our materials, they have to be a lot cleaner. So we need to make sure that what goes into our recycling carts is really recyclable and that it's clean recyclables. So first of all, just to make sure everybody knows which carts we're using. So This gray one over here on the left, of course, is the big recycling cart, and you can have as big a cart for recycling as you like. It's free with the cost of the garbage cart, which is the black one. And then some of you may have subscribed to the green waste bin so that you're not putting your yard trimmings loose in the street for the claw to come pick up. And if you're in a multifamily living situation, then you may have a gray cart like this for recycling and a green cart for garbage. And then some multifamily situations have this blue recycling cart instead. So just a quick overview of the things that can be recycled. So this is sort of just a short list of them. So these are the metals that can go into your recycling cart. So it's aluminum can and aluminum foils, provided that they're not soiled with food. Tin cans, scrap metals, and cookware. Those can all go into your recycling cart, as well as these different kinds of fiber. So paper and cardboard, books, boxes, envelopes, shredded paper. The thing about shredded paper, though, is that it's considered what we call a tangler, which means that if you just put shredded paper in your recycling cart and then it goes to the material recovery facility and goes up a conveyor belt and then starts going through the sorting process, it's going to get caught in the machinery and jam it. So if you're going to recycle shredded paper, you need to put it in a clear plastic bag, seal it in there so that it's contained and it can't do that. And they can see what it is so that they can set it aside for recycling. You can also recycle magazines and cartons and paper egg cartons. In terms of glass, it's all these different bottles and jars. And then plastic, you've got all these different plastics as well. One plastic that you can't recycle is like the plastic film. So if you buy a container of yogurt or hummus or something like that, and it has that plastic film on top, that is also a tangler and cannot go in your cart. Same with plastic bags. So this is a slide of the things that shouldn't go in your recycling cart. So you may have been able to put clothing and textiles in your recycling cart before, but that's no longer the case. These things here, hoses, cords, hangers, and wires, those are also considered tanglers, and those shouldn't go into the recycling cart. And these plastic hangers, they might not necessarily, they probably could gum things up, but they also probably aren't labeled with what kind of plastic they are, so they don't know how to separate it out. Diapers and pet waste shouldn't go in your recycling cart. Those would go in the garbage. Those are a biohazard and not recyclable. And then all of these different plastic films, like the little film top I was talking about a moment ago. So plastic bags, all of these wrappers for like potato chips and so forth, those are all plastic, and those too can gum things up. But the really big thing to keep out of your recycling cart is stuff that is food soiled. So for instance, this pizza box, the bottom of the box is going to be greasy. If the top of your pizza box is not greasy, is not food soiled, you can put that in the recycling cart, but anything that is food soiled needs to go in your garbage cart. So that's true for all of these things here. Our slogan is no food, no liquid, no problem. So we just need to keep those things out, because if you, let's say that you drink a half a Snapple or something, and then you toss the bottle in your recycling cart and that gets everything wet, then it's just contaminated all of those perhaps good recyclables that you've put in there. So how to recycle clean. So like this is, I did one of these neighborhood association meetings a couple of weeks ago, and these were some of the things that people asked me about. This is a nut butter jar. So the recycling haulers, the people who are selling the materials and stuff, they can tolerate a certain amount of stuff still left. So we're not saying that you have to put your recyclables through your dishwasher or that it has to be pristine, but you know, it's sort of like the old clean your plate thing. You know, if you were supposed to clean your plate when you were a kid and still now. Same thing with, let's say, a nut butter jar that you want to put in your recycle cart. You want to, you know, scrape out, you want to make sure you've eaten all that peanut butter. And if there's a little bit left in it like this, then that's all right. They can tolerate that. But you don't want to put something in that's still oozing peanut butter everywhere, or yogurt or whatever. So we have a bunch of different services besides, you know, the garbage and recycling that you may be familiar with. Up here in the top left corner, we have a junk pickup program, which is free and unlimited. I don't know if maybe some of you have utilized this, but there's no reason to pay to have a junk hauler come haul your stuff away, because you can call your recycling hauler, and that would either be California Waste Solutions or, oh dear, I've been in the Emergency Operations Center for a year and I'm rusty on these things now. Oh, Green Team. It's Green Team for the other parts of the city. And make an appointment, and you can put out up to 3 items per appointment, and you put them out on the day that your garbage and recycling is taken away, and they'll send a truck and they'll pick up these things like old microwaves and mattresses and so forth. And this is in part an effort to try to reduce blight and illegal dumping and so forth. So, you know, partake of this program. It's pretty, it can save you a lot of money, and it's very efficient and convenient. And then in the top right, we also participate in the county's household hazardous waste program. There's lots of things that shouldn't go in your garbage or your recycle bin or go out in the junk pickup program. There's things like batteries and paint and solvents and pesticides and herbicides and electronics and pharmaceuticals and so forth that should not be put out curbside. And you can go to the Household Hazardous Waste website, which is hhw.org, and make an appointment to take these materials, these items, to the Household Hazardous Waste drop-off location. There's one in San Martin, there's one near Oakland and, near King and Las Plumas off Mayberry. And it's very easy. You put the materials in your trunk, you drive up, you pop your trunk open, you never have to get out of your car. They take all the stuff and sort it out, and they get it taken away and disposed of appropriately. Yard trimmings, I'm sure you're all familiar with. You can either leave your yard trimmings loose in the street, or you can utilize the green bin for it. And one of my pet peeves over the pandemic is that the only thing all of us could do was take walks around our neighborhood, and a lot of people ended up using the yard trimmings piles as a spot to throw their dog poop bags, and dog poop does not go, dog poop bags do not go in your yard trimmings pile. And all those yard trimmings are taken to a composting facility in Gilroy and turned into compost that's used in landscaping and medians and so forth. And then you may have become aware that in some cities, residents are getting a separate little bin for food scraps that gets picked up. And why aren't we doing that in San Jose? And the reason that we're not doing that in San Jose is because our garbage hauler takes all of the organics out of your garbage and compost those separately. So if you put paper that's food soiled or paper in your garbage cart and your food scraps, it will be taken to this materials recovery facility, and those items will be taken out and composted as well, also at Z-Best, and that's a different kind of compost. And you want to keep those two materials separate. They go through a little bit different process and they come up with a different kind of compost. And you don't want to be putting your food waste in your yard trimmings pile, in part because it attracts rodents. And of course, you're not going to be putting your yard trimmings in your food waste. So that's why you don't have a separate bin, but you can rest assured that those are being diverted from the landfill. So let's see. this is another thing that people were asking, is this recyclable? So I'm sure we've all seen a piece of or some packaging that's come through that's got like a piece of plastic on it, and it's been adhered to a piece of cardboard. And something that's sort of mixed media like this also shouldn't go in your recycle bin. But you could peel off the, you know, as much of that paperboard as you want and put that in your recycle bin, and then this plastic needs to go, sadly, in your garbage bin. And then this is one that I was actually wondering about the other day, is when you get slices of cheese, can this paper be recycled? And of course, since that's food soiled with all that oil from the cheese, that also cannot be recycled. And then this is just a picture of how you can bag up your shredded paper. And a lot of people wonder about polystyrene. And polystyrene, while it is a plastic, is not recyclable in San Jose. And actually, I cannot find a city in the Bay Area where you can recycle it. It takes a really large piece of machinery to smash that expanded polystyrene down to something that can then be transported somewhere else to be used. And the material recovery facilities locally don't have that equipment, so it can't be recycled. And it's something that needs to be disposed of well, because if it floats out of your garbage can and sits in the street and then breaks up into those little tiny pieces like this here, you know, that goes down the storm drain, and then that's a pollutant in our waterways. And then plastic mailers like this cannot be recycled because, again, this is a plastic film. But this mailer came to us a couple months ago, and I was looking, initially I was looking at this and I was just apoplectic that I was getting this mailer that had all this expanded polystyrene in here. And then I looked closer and it was saying recycle this just like a box. And I went to the QR code and looked it up, and it turns out that this is the glue that is typical of packaging that is not a contaminant in the recycling process, and they've managed to somehow fluff it up into some sort of cushioning. So they're right, this can be recycled. So if you get a mailer like this, you actually can recycle it. So let's hear it for the evolving nature of packaging. A bag of bags cannot be recycled, but you may still be able to take it to your local grocery store and they may have a bin there still. And air pockets, that's the same kind of thing. So we have a really nice resource now. It's called sanjoserecycles.org, and you can pull it up on your phone or you can pull it up on your computer. And it looks like this, and you can put an article in here. So let's say fire extinguisher, because somebody was asking about that the other day. And it will tell you that it's hazardous waste, and that means that it has to go out in the household hazardous waste program. There's like between 300 and 400 items in here, so you can look up all sorts of different things, and it'll tell you where you can put it. So in this recycling guide, it tells you what goes in the recycling cart, the garbage cart, yard trimmings. It talks about beverage container recycling, junk pickup, plastic bag drop-off, e-waste, and hidden under there is household hazardous waste. So this is your first stop when you have a question about what can and can't be recycled. And it's very comprehensive, and I think you'll find it very helpful. So that was basically what I wanted to tell you. And I'm more than happy to take questions if you got them.
Do you have any questions?
Was that comprehensive?
Well, I was concerned about the peanut butter jar. I always try to clean it and it never gets totally clean. So
I know.
So that's good. I can still leave a little bit in there and throw it away.
I actually have a question. Some people not very many, but some people do have the large green containers where you can put the yard clippings. Are those containers free, or do you have to pay for them?
You have to pay for those.
I see.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head how much those are, but you can look that up on here as well, because we have all the collection services, yard trimmings.
Additional monthly fee, it says.
Yeah. Let's see here. $5.30 a month.
Yeah.
For any size yard trimming cart.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was easy.
So, you know, the best thing is to think about what you're buying before you buy it and imagine what's going to happen to this when I'm done with it. And, you know, if it's going to create waste, if there's an alternative that you can buy, you know, go for the thing that's going to create the least amount of waste.
Raphael, did you have a question?
I was just going to say for Lyndon, I've actually used a junk pickup and the hazardous waste drop-off center. They've been actually fantastic. The key thing is to make sure you go online. You could call them or schedule the appointment online, and they're usually either 1 or 2 weeks out. But it's great. You tell them what they're going to pick up after the trash has been, you know, picked up for that Friday. They can buy in the afternoon, and it's seamless and it's perfect. So it's a really cool setup.
I'm glad it's worked for you. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that also. I had a big couch and a chair, and they were just falling apart, and I put them out in the street. I mean, it was so nice. I get so mad when I see these things out there. This is free, come and pick it up, like somebody is going to magically pick up their old crummy thing that they don't want anymore. So it's so nice when, you know, I've gone door to door occasionally when I've seen that and knocked on their door. Here, phone this number, you know, so, but I haven't walked enough lately, so but it does work. It's really, really nice. So
we put together, we have little business cards with the junk pickup program.
That's what I've got. Yeah.
Yeah, and I take those with me when I go walking.
Yeah.
And, give those to people sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I hate to see the stuff out in the street, so it's great. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, thanks.
There's one question in the there's one question in the attendees. Somebody has their hand up. James Fitch has his hand up.
I don't know if they can get in. Can they get in?
Somebody has to promote them so they can ask the question, or they can.
Linda, do you know how to let them in, or?
I don't, Eric.
Can they do
Eric,
it in
They've
the
asked the question, and the question is, any progress has been made on making Ziploc bags recyclable?
On making what?
Ziploc bags recyclable.
I'm sorry, once more.
Ziploc bags.
Oh, Ziploc bags recyclable. Not that I've heard. I mean, I'm sure they're probably working on it, but again, I've spent the last year in the Emergency Operations Center, and so I'm a little behind on that, but I'll write that one down and see if I can find out.
Somebody else wanted to.
Periodically, I'll see little notes that somebody's made some improvement to some product and made it, you know, so that it's not such an environmental burden on the back end, but that one I'm not up to speed on.
Someone else asked, and I forgot what the question was.
Someone's asking if we can get a copy of the slides.
Oh, that's the slides. That's what it was. Thanks. It probably went out.
Yeah, I'll send them to Linda and she can send them out to you.
Yeah, send them to, well, I'll send them to Eric. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Any more questions? All right, our next general membership meeting is May 10th, May, oh my gosh, May 10th. And our guest speaker at that time will be Councilman David Kiemen. So we'll have some questions ready for him to ponder over before he gets there. And then our regular BCAC board meeting is next Monday, and both of those meetings are via Zoom. And I must say, we have so much information that came out tonight. I was so glad I'm not the secretary trying to record all these things. I was taking notes myself, but there's no way I could keep. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
That's why I love Eric so much, because he just records the broadcast. Done. I can do much more superficial minutes because of the recording session. I do have a question for Eric. Do we have any statistics on how many people watch the videos of our meetings? Because our attendance today, right now, at 24, and we typically would have an audience of 45 or so. And I'm wondering, are people just viewing it offline when it's more convenient for them? Do we have any way of knowing?
Yeah, Google YouTube has analytics I can get you later.
If you have a moment, it's not a high priority, but I'd be curious to know what kind of interest there is in watching.
Okay. Well, if there is no other business, do you need to wait, Ty, for Eric to look that up, or do it at our other meeting?
No, he can do it. It's not a priority. Whenever it's at his leisure, if he comes up with something, drop me an email or whatever. Just curious.
Well, yeah, I always am too, but it says there was 30 total at one point. So anyway, well, since there is no more business to take care of, we could actually leave a little early. We can't even have cake or anything. Well, I could go get cake.
And just a side comment. A side comment for Lyndon. I've been watching Atlantic Crossing, which it's been lovely.
Really?
Oh, you mean because I'm Norwegian? Oh,
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that was a part of World War II history I didn't know that much about. So,
all right.
Yeah. We recommend it.
That's good. You guys are enjoying something. All right. Well, I'm going to adjourn this meeting if no one has anything else to say. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'll go check on the Warriors and see how they're doing, and the A's are playing and the Giants are playing. Everybody's playing tonight. So we'll go check them out. Good night, everybody.
Adieu, mes amis.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
For all the info. Thanks for